What's happening, guys? RandomEd787 here. Now, I know this is going to come off as a head scratcher to the vast majority of my subscribers because this is not Flight Simulator content. Well, let me just explain. So, I want to keep the momentum of my channel going, and, I want to see if I can maybe fit some of these kind of videos in. Videos that I can just make really quick, that take very little effort to get out, because, so a lot of the other videos I make, there's got to be some editing involved. They don't take too long to make, but I want to just see, if there's like something I could do in the meantime when I have, some free time. Just something laid back, chill, and I figured this would be a good format. So we'll see how this does. If it does good, I'll make some more. If not, maybe I'll reconsider. But for those who are new to the channel, welcome. Hopefully this will be something that I can maybe do. We'll just see how the winds blow, I guess. So let's talk about PlayStation. So just a little history, well, not history lesson, but just a little history from me. I've been a PlayStation fan for a very long time, really since the original, but really it was the PS2 that made me a definitive fan, because the PS2 was actually my first home console. And that wasn't an age thing. It's not like I was born late into the generations. I was 11 years old when I had a PS2, but my parents wouldn't let me have a home console because they were kind of on that it's gonna fry your brain territory. But I still had a Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color. I played computer games and everything like that, and watched cartoons all the time. So I don't know. The video games had a big stigma back in the 90s. So, I'm 34 years old. So I've seen a huge evolution of video games, especially PlayStation. So it obviously holds a special place in my heart. And to see what the PS5 has become, it's a joke. And it's sad. But to be fair, a lot of gaming these days, just modern gaming, is just hot garbage. And lately, I've been going back and trying to play some older games. And yeah, I can see why older games are getting more popular. That's not to say that there's some modern games that aren't good. All right, I'm not saying that. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, great example of a modern game done right. Absolutely gorgeous visuals, great gameplay, great story. Just pretty much a masterpiece. It's freaking awesome, except for that Guarma section. That was kind of annoying. But in terms of PlayStation, let's go back to this a little bit. One of the things that motivated me to make this video was that state of play that we had recently, and oh boy. Now, just a disclaimer, I didn't watch the entire thing, but I don't feel like you really need to get an idea of what's really going on at Sony right now. And it doesn't look good. We heard practically nothing about a lot of first-party titles. It was pretty much all third-party. And when it comes to games like Marvel's Wolverine, we haven't heard anything. We didn't get an update on Ghost of Yotai. I don't give two flying craps about that thing from Naughty Dog, because after what I saw with The Last of Us Part 2, I do not trust them. And plus that trailer was just it was pretty pathetic. I have like no interest from this for this game. Although when I did see that the original trailer that was Naughty Dog's next game, I was like oh gee, holy crap, it's Naughty Dog's next game. But I was also saying not interested, but holy crap, that's insane to think about. They're actually making a new IP. So, I'm going to have a bit of a bold take here and say that I actually do not think Sony can recover with the PS5. I do not think there's hope for the console, and I hate to say that. Now, that's not to say the console itself is doing bad. It's actually selling very well. But I'm talking like in terms of like just great exclusives or just leaving a good legacy behind. I don't think there's any hope for that. Like PS4, I can tell you some of that PS4 had some of the greatest exclusives. Like Uncharted 4 is my favorite Uncharted out of all of them. I freaking love that game. I love it. It wasn't my favorite at first, but over the years, it really grew on me. I just like the pirate adventure and the tropical paradise. I love that. You know, it just feels more grounded. It feels a little bit more of like of a realistic plot rather than, you know, all this supernatural stuff from the previous games. Not to say that they were bad. It's just I like the idea of finding like a lost like treasure. Like it just feels a little bit more relatable. And it had some, oh my goodness, some of the best set pieces. It was just so damn good. And then you also had the first Marvel Spider-Man, which, in my opinion, is the greatest Spider-Man game ever made. Spider-Man 2, no. I got my own opinions on that. Then you have Ghost of Tsushima, best samurai game ever made. The list just keeps going. I know there's probably a game, a Final Fantasy VII Remake. One of the greatest JRPGs I've ever played. Just so many great standout games on PS4 and in third parties too. You know, I got stuff that you could get on the other consoles too. You had Red Dead Redemption 2 come out. You know, we just had a lot to look forward to, I feel like, with the last generation. But I feel like that's where the cracks were starting to show. Because we noticed that we're not getting as many games as we used to. And I believe the reason for that is everyone has to have realistic graphics. Everyone's got to have an open world of some kind. And, oh, I did forget to mention 2 games. Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War. Also great games that define the PS4. So, you know, every game's got to practically be the same. And that's why gaming feels boring to people these days, because we don't have any variety like we used to. You know, that's why I still believe the PS2 was the greatest console ever made. And that's, yes, some of that is nostalgia. I will agree. But you have to look at the library. We had games that were more realistic and grounded in reality, like Grand Theft Auto. We had, you know, wacky adventure games like Jak and Daxter, or heck, how many of you remember Tech and the Power of Juju? Does that bring back any memories for people? I thought that game looked so stupid when I saw the advertisement. I'm like, who the hell would play this? Then I played it. It was one of my favorite. I think it was one of my favorite games on the PS2. It is so underrated. I don't know why it's not talked about more. It's just stupid fun. Like, where is the stupid fun? Like, where is it? Why can't we get these wacky games anymore? I know they're out there, but we need to bring them back. And plus, we'll get more games out of that. Instead of focusing on graphical fidelity, let's focus on fun gameplay mechanics. That's not to say you shouldn't make your game look pretty. You know, like, I think Nintendo is the best example of this. They still managed to make their games look absolutely gorgeous with their art style, but they focus on gameplay first, and that's why I feel like every generation, they've been able to come out with a good chunk of exclusives. And I'll be honest, watching that state of play, or just seeing the game list from that, it actually made me more excited for the Switch 2. When your conference makes me more excited about another company's console, you know you done effed it up. All right, I'm just gonna just say that in layman's terms. You done effed it up. Okay, you didn't do the job right. And look, you know, it's not any different. It's even worse on the Xbox side. Xbox, I don't think, is even a competitor anymore. I don't think Sony does not have competition, and this was something that I kind of feared, that they were going to lose their way. The PS4 success was going to go to their head, and I think it did. But I also think you have people that, you know, quote unquote, led PlayStation. You know, Jim Ryan, he ran this company into the ground by investing in all these live service games. Yeah, how'd that go with Concord? Yeah. And now this new CEO came in and just basically canned almost all these live service games, and I commend him for doing that. But the thing is, though, I don't believe there's going to be any recovery for the PS5. Like, I don't think you're going to see that many games. I really don't, because We're already hearing reports of the PlayStation 6 potentially coming out in 2 to 3 years. We're already halfway through this console generation. We barely have any games. And in my opinion, there is not a single system seller on the PS5. I don't believe Astro Bot's a system seller. I don't believe Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a system seller, or even Marvel Spider-Man 2. And I know some people are probably going to give me flack for that, but I'll give you my reasons. Astro Bot's a little bit different. That one's a little difficult. It's a good game, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed my time with it, and it's very charming, and you could tell the team behind it really had passion. And I'm happy for its success, because I think Sony is starting to get the memo. In fact, I think I saw a report recently that Sony is looking to make more family-friendly games. Thank you! Can we please do that? For Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I enjoyed the gameplay. Story, not as good as Remake, but my main issue with it was the open world. It did not need to be open world. I understand the concept of making Midgar open world, but it felt very tacked on, I guess. It had a lot of the Ubisoft isms, like unlocking towers and stuff. When is this going to stop? When is this going to stop? When are we going to just leave that behind, please? Oh, my goodness. And plus, for me, it was a pacing problem. The open world just makes the pacing so slow. And I just feel like there's all these unnecessary distractions. I just want to move on with the story when I'm playing a JRPG. I want to move along with the story. You know, it should have been something more like God of War, the new God of Wars, where it feels like an open world, but it's a more open linear style of gameplay, which I think Final Fantasy VII Remake kind of did too. If they could have just stuck with that, I think I would have liked the game better. But I can't justify spending $500 on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But if I had to choose which game probably justifies it more, I would say Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, just from a quality standpoint and how much you can get out of it. But for Marvel Spider-Man 2, I'll mention that one quickly. The story was the main problem for me. Web swinging in the game, 10 out of 10. It's incredible. It's so much damn fun. But the gameplay itself, you know, with the crime fighting, that gets repetitive. The story, not anywhere near as memorable as the first. And for me, I think the first one, the reason why it was so good was that, you know, the relationship between Peter and, well, spoiler alert, but almost all of you have played it, Peter and Dr. Octavius. That's what really did it for me. And I think a lot of other people too. So I'm very pessimistic about the PS5's future. And personally, the only reason that I actually have a PS5 still is for two games. Grand Theft Auto 6, because I'm not waiting for the PC port like a year to 2 years later, and it'll probably release broken because, you know, modern gaming and Rockstar doesn't really have a good history of releasing PC ports on launch. And Kingdom Hearts 4. But we'll see if that actually comes out. I'm skeptical on this point. If Kingdom Hearts 4 was to come out on PC on day one, I still wouldn't get it because I don't trust Square Enix with their ports, and I want a physical copy, especially when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. Especially if there's a collector's edition, I'm getting it. I'm just getting it. And that's the only franchise I would really do that with, because I'm a diehard Kingdom Hearts fan. I've been playing it ever since the PS2 when it came out in 2002. So I really do hope PlayStation can recover, but I don't think we're going to see any real changes until the PlayStation 6, because we're halfway in this console generation, and we're already hearing rumors of another PlayStation in the next 2 to 3 years. So I don't think Sony is going to have enough time to recover, personally, in my opinion. But maybe it could change. If they could, maybe find a way to extend the lifespan of these consoles and just support them longer, then maybe it could work. But I don't know. With the way technology moves and how fast it's going, you know, I don't think that might be a realistic option. So we're just going to have to really wait and see on it. But I've kind of, in a way, given up on the PS5, you know. And plus, I'm not really... I wouldn't say I'm not excited, but I'm very concerned about two big exclusives, and that's Ghost of Yotei and Marvel's Wolverine. I'm not going to dive into too much detail as to why, But when it comes to Ghost of Yotei, one of the people that's helping write the game also helped write Dragon Age the Veilguard. That's not setting off any red flags whatsoever. Nope, not at all. Now, granted, I never played a Dragon Age game, but I seen some clips of the writing from that game. I am not kidding. At first, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was AI or something. Then when I found out it was actually real, that a real human being wrote this, I literally wanted to smash my head into a brick wall. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. And for Marvel's Wolverine, from a gameplay standpoint, I know the game's going to be fantastic, especially since the game's probably going to be rated M. From a story standpoint, I don't know. Insomniac is very inconsistent. I did not enjoy Marvel Spider-Man 2's story, I think, like, at all. Like, really. It was just significantly weaker. So, I have some skepticism on it. But we'll see. Maybe it'll turn out to be one of the greatest superhero games ever made. We'll see. But anyways, I think I'm going to end the video there. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a different format than what a lot of you are used to. There's really no editing whatsoever. But I haven't done a video like this in a very long time. And I just kind of wanted to go back and do it. And just to have a little variety on the channel. But anyways, if you enjoyed it, leave a like and comment down below if you want to chat about this subject. I'd like to hear what some of you have to say. I'm always interested to see what other gamers have to say and in terms of like what's going on in the industry and everything. And if this video does well, then I'll probably consider actually making some more content like this. Just lay back, relaxing, and talking, I guess. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later, and peace out.